Hey everybody and welcome back to a brand new Reddit video. The most popular subreddit we've done so far is Entitledparents, so I thought that we should just do another episode of that. And our first story is called Entitled Mother Brings Along Her Kid to Work Unannounced. Background. My company sets up a booth at a carnival and we engage several part-timers to assist it at the carnival. The part-timers are required to go on the carnival ground to distribute flyers, share information and direct visitors to our booth. The story. One day of the carnival, after setting up, I met up with the part-timers to prepare them for the day. Out of all the part-timers, only Entitled Mother was late. She mentioned she would be 15 minutes late, but it was closer to an hour. As we couldn't wait, I briefed the others and deployed them for the day. When Entitled Mother arrived, she had her kid in tow, 5 to 6 years old. Due to job nature, we can't have her lugging her kid while working. Entitled Mother knew this. My husband can handle the kid, so I had to bring her along. I can't have you working with your kid. It's not my problem. If you don't like it, get someone to watch over him. My colleague, C, who was watching this unfold, offered to watch over the kid. He was only required to help out during the start and end of the carnival, so he was entirely free during the event. I thought alright since he was free. I can watch over her, get her some food, watch some shows, play some games, but you'll need to pay me. Whatever, but I'm not paying for your time, only for your kid. Sure. I was flabbergasted. Colleague told me not to worry, he had a plan. Once Entitled Mother started working, the colleague brought Entitled Mother's kid systematically through every single booth throughout the entire carnival. It was the kid's dream come true, and I believe her best day ever. Whatever she wanted to eat, colleague bought. She saw a lot of the shows and won many prizes. Since colleague had a staff pass, he didn't need to pay the shows, only for the kid. At the end of the carnival, we were clocking the hours worked, Entitled Mother had the nerve to insist to be paid in full, even though she was late for almost 1 hour. She said that because of various reasons, mainly due to her kid, she would have been early. She was ranting and I didn't really pay any attention, as I was tired and I don't decide on the pay. But it was about how I will never understand, as I don't have kids, on how she deserves it because she was a mother. My manager nearby winked at me and took over. He said he was pleased with the day's sales and how we were very supportive of her and we should give kids the best. He told not to worry about the hours she worked and Entitled Mother would pay in full. After hearing this, not even a single thanks from Entitled Mother. She declared in a loud voice, "At least someone understands." She had this condescending and victorious look on her face. Thankfully, it didn't last long. The sucker punch for Entitled Mother was that Entitled Mother's kid spent roughly $100, and with Entitled Mother's pay at $15 an hour for 8 hours, that's $120. She made a whopping $20 the whole day. Colleague made it a point to keep track of the expenses, receipts, tickets, stubs, etc. and took tons of photos. Of course, Entitled Mother threw a fit, but with the amount of evidence and her daughter vouching for all the fun she had, Entitled Mother had no case except to yell, "I'm not paying for this!" grabbed her daughter and stormed off. We look forward on payday when we issue her a check of $20 after subtracting the amount her daughter spent. Wow, I mean what do if she just would have been nice, what is this person? This mother, the entitledness is insane. If you just would have been nice, they probably would have done everything. Of course you have to pay for what your child eats and shows, but he wouldn't have done like every single thing at the entire carnival to the amount of $100. But it'd be nice to people. You don't get anything to be like that, especially when the other people haven't done anything wrong. She just had to be so entitled and mean, so I'm so happy for that. Our next story is called Entitled Mom Thinks Her Family's Rules Apply to Everyone. I've been reading this sub for a while and I never thought I would have something to post, but here I am. Last week I was traveling for work. It had been a long 2 days of meetings and I was exhausted. I just arrived at the airport for my evening cross-country flight home when I got the dreaded text from the airline saying my flight was delayed 2 hours due to mechanical problems. I decided to pass the time by getting something to eat. I found an airport restaurant and I sat down to order. I ordered my food and pulled my phone out of my bag to catch up on email and browse the web while waiting for my food to arrive. While I was waiting, a family with a mom, dad, little girl about 5 years old and a middle school age looking boy sat at a table near me. I didn't pay them much attention as I was looking at emails on my phone, but then I hear the little girl exclaim in a rather loud voice, "Look, Mom, that lady is on her phone at the table." I then hear the mother reply, Yes, she shouldn't be doing that. It's rude to have a phone at the table. I glance over, and the mother says to me, "We have a rule that no phones are allowed at the table." My first reaction was to say something snarky, as exhaustion was definitely getting the better of me, but then I thought better of it and decided to be polite. I looked at the little girl and said, "We have the same rule in my family, but since I'm here alone, I'm not being rude to anyone by looking at my phone now." At this point, the son looks like he wants to crawl under the table from embarrassment, and the dad is trying to hand the mom a menu and says, "It's okay, let's just order." I think that will be the end of it. But no. The mom says, "Obviously you have a family, so you know how important it is to follow rules. I would appreciate if you would put away your phone," in a tone that a parent would use on a petulant teen. The little girl chimes in and says, "Yeah, you have to put your phone away. My brother can't have his phone at the table, so you can't either." I look at the little girl and say in as a sweet tone as I can muster, "Well, the great thing about being a grown-up is that I can do whatever I want. So now I'm going to keep looking at my phone," and then turn back to my email. The mother sighs loudly. The teen looks even more embarrassed, and the dad again tries to get the mom to order and leave me alone. The mom calls waiter over and asks to be reseated. He grudgingly moved them to a different table. My food arrives, and I eat in peace and enjoy browsing Reddit. I mean, who and for what, like, what kind of person think that you can tell a grown, like an adult, that my kids aren't allowed to use their phones at the table, so you aren't either. I mean, you have no right. You don't know the person. They're not your family, not your child. And they're an adult, and they're at the public space. I mean, okay, if they were eating in your house and you say, "No phones at the table, please." That's one thing. It's weird, but I mean, that's respect to not use it, but it's weird to tell them. But, like, if you don't know them and they're sitting at another table, I don't get it. Like, who can be so entitled that they think that you should follow my kid's rules? Like, I'm not your kid. Stupid people. Our third story is called Entitled Parent Thinks They Rented the Whole Park. I'm at a city park with my kids. We've been to this park a bunch. There is this one spot where there is a rocky hill, all tree covered, nice and shady on a hot day. There's a playground and a pavilion at the top of the hill. We get up there and I immediately notice loud noises, and I'm having to step over cables and extension cords. Someone rented the pavilion and set up not one but 3 bounce houses around it. Fucking great. So I have to give the disappointing news to my kids that even though they are surrounded by bounce houses, they cannot play in them, since it's a private party. But they are free to go hit the playground. Everyone is cool. I sit on the bench as my kids go to town on the fake pirate ship when I hear, "Hey!" That's when entitled dad, doing his best to imitate the situation from the Jersey Shore, walks up to me and informs me that the playground is closed for a private party. I look at him and inform him that the public park does not close for private parties. And it sounds like he rented the pavilion nearby, which is fine, but doesn't give him exclusive use of the neighboring playground. He storms off and returns with a rental agreement and shoves in my face telling me to get my fucking kids and leave. Right, so rental agreement is very clearly for the pavilion. All for the grand sum of $35 for 4 hours. How could any sensible adult think that $35 granted you exclusive use of a public playground? Moreover, why is it so important for you to have exclusive use of a public playground? I, again, point out to him that he rented the pavilion, not the park, and my kids won't go on his bounce houses, and we won't go into his pavilion, but the playground is fair game for everyone. He begins hurling threats, and I'm weighing just taking my kids and leaving to avoid this asshole. Then I decide I need to take a stand on principle. So I tell him to fuck off, proceed to use my phone to find a phone number for the park office. Our county staffs our park. During the summer months, they have employee park rangers who have peace officer authority. I call the park ranger and tell him that there is trouble up at this shady playground and they need to come right away. Sure enough, as I'm getting off the phone, Dolph returns with 2 of his meathead friends and tell me that they are ejecting me from the park. No, you're not. And if you touch me, I'm calling the cops and pressing charges. No anger, no rage. With this promise of action, however, one of them kind of widens his eyes and steps back saying to him, "Just leave them alone, man." This guy, for some reason, does not want the police coming, and it's very obvious. The ringleader won't back down, however, and tries his best to get in my face, scream and yell. He grabs my arm, I remove his hand. All of this just as I see the ranger pull up, yell for everyone to step back from one another and come over. This smug fucker shoves the rental contract into the chest of the ranger, telling him that I'm trespassing and he rented the space for the day for his kid's party. Now, normally I don't like posturing by law enforcement, but here was pretty amusing. Touch me again and I'm arresting you. Reads contract. This is for renting the pavilion. You have use of the pavilion, but the playground is open for public use. Hands it back. Also, your permit doesn't allow you to set up bounce houses. Where did you plug this in? Ranger follows those extension cords and sees that they ran them to the nearby public bathrooms. There was an outdoor outlet. It was locked. This dude cut the locks off so he could plug in his shit. Ranger comes back with a broken lock. Did you cut this lock? It was like that when I found it. Really? Because it was intact this morning. So some random person cut this lock and you just happened upon it within the last 2 hours. I guess. Long story short, he let them stay and let them keep the bounce castles because he didn't want to ruin the kids' party. He wrote the guy's citation for the broken lock and unauthorized power use and banned him from the park for the remainder of the season after the party. Amazingly, this entire event was lost on my children who barely noticed anything was going on, likely because of the compressor noise. Damn! I mean, holy shit! I mean, he was so calm and I told them to... It says on the rental that you only rented this and not the park. And he'll know, and even the park ranger comes and he's like, yeah, now I got the park ranger on my side. And he gets a citation, he's banned from the park, and they're like, oh god. I love when the person don't really have to do anything, the one that's assaulted by the entitled parent, but then they just get everything right back, right in their face, and I just love that. That's everything for this episode. We checked out a lot of entitled parents today, and there was only 3 stories, but they were quite long. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this type of video, and subscribe if you want more like this. Comment what you think about these entitled parents and what you want me to do next, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.